You see, the best way to win is you got to play everyone. Like, it's kind of like, like if you go to a club, you got to work everyone from the valet to the doorman to the waitress to get the best service, right? The same thing goes in operations. And the reason for that is because people, whether they like to admit it or not, they're going to put a little bit more elbow grease for those that they care about more. What's up, everybody? So as of right now, in this market, real estate, if you're a mortgage loan officer, this is definitely going to apply to you. Every mortgage company right now is literally at its peak, meaning it is so busy with operations that us as salesmen tend to forget the important role that they play. And so, for example, right now, if you're a loan officer and you're feeling kind of that stress, that anxiety, because you feel like your loans are not moving or your files aren't going to the next level, or your clients are bothering you every single day, like, hey man, this process is taking too long. What's going on? I just heard that rates drop. I think I should probably go apply elsewhere because you guys are taking forever to do my loan. If you're getting hit with that every single day, you'll notice that you're actually transferring that stress and that anxiety towards everyone, especially operations. When I'm talking about operations, I'm talking about loan processors, production assistants, your manager, right? Because we rely on them as kind of like our right leg or our right arm to complete the process, right? So sales can only do so much. Sales brings it in, we hand it off to operations, and then we rely on them to fulfill the rest of the process. And of course, we have this pressure on us each and every single day to continue feeding that machine. And when I'm talking about that machine is that operation system that your business has. And so it's a little conveyor belt, right? And you're just at the very beginning. So you have to kind of structure a deal, sale, put on the conveyor belt, and then that conveyor belt goes through different departments. It goes through production assistants, loan processors, underwriters, funders, notaries, right? So it goes through this entire process. And because of the market and the condition that we're in, what we're finding ourselves in the midst of is just a jam-packed conveyor belt that used to run real quick, right? But because there are so many different products now, it takes a lot longer for each particular product or each loan file to go through its station, its processor, right? And the reason for that is because the influx of the market and just limited capabilities. And so every loan processor used to manage a pipeline, let's say of 20, now they manage a pipeline of 90. Now, what does this do to us in sales? What it does to us in sales is it puts us in this anxiety state, right? This anxious state, because what used to take us 30 days to close or 45 days to close have now turned to 90 plus days. And we just want it to close because we can't let go of it until it's done. And the reason why we can't let go of it is because our clients are contacting us saying, AD, I just got wind that the rates fell since we started damn near 3 months ago. I'm getting hit up by every single company saying that they got a lower rate than you. And so now the question is, what do you do, right? Like, how do I handle this? How do I make my clients stick with me? And how do I remove that tension? The tension that I'm talking about is the one that you feel every single day. If you're a mortgage loan officer right now, you're going to go into the office with some tension because you're going to see that file again with 2 days left on the lock, and you'll be like, man, here we go again. This process is not answering me. This underwriter hasn't touched my file, and you're going to carry that weight. So I want to help you prep to avoid that state of mind. And a lot of it has to do with wordplay. What I'm talking about wordplay is your choice of words, your word tracking. Because there are loan officers who actually put themselves in that state of anxiety and they don't even know it. And how they do it, and you may be doing it, is whenever you prep your loan file to hand the baton off to the conveyor belt or hand your baton off to processing, you may be like saying words that are along the lines of, okay, so it's probably going to take us only about 4 to 6 weeks. We move very fast because we're in-house or whatever. You should hear from us in the next couple days. Again, wordplay, next couple days. These are the words that our clients are hearing, or our leads are hearing, our loans are hearing. And we sometimes are innocent because we're used to saying those words. It's kind of like your opening script, right? It's embedded in your wordplay. And so you don't know any better, and you're just saying the common things because you're so fucking busy, right? You have 9 other calls to get back to. You got some, you know what I mean? Like, you're required to be on the phone X amount of minutes or X amount of hours per day. And so you're juggling a lot of things. Plus you got fires to put out, 90 unread emails, processors hounding you, or sometimes not hounding you. And so now you got to hound them. And so, you know, we juggle a lot, but hey, that's why we get paid very handsomely, right? We get a lot of money for the activities and the things and the duties that we have in play. And so pay attention to your wordplay, because if you're telling your prospect or your lead before they go into operations, like, hey, this is going to be super quick, or hey, you're going to get an update in a couple days, or hey, you know, you're going to hear from your processor by next week. These are certain words that you just need to revise to set up the expectations properly. Because if you're telling your prospect that it's going to be quick, or you'll get an update in a couple days, they're going to believe you. And when they don't hear from you from 2 weeks, or when they don't hear from you or the operations for 2 weeks, and they call you upset, and then they feel there's this lack of communication, but then they get hounded by your competitive company who's promising them rates that are lower than them, and they know what words to say, like, oh yeah, we keep in constant contact, we're going to be very transparent, you know exactly what's going on at any given day and any given minute. They're going to snatch that business from you. And so where does that leave you? It leaves you in that anxious state, right? You kind of go into this survival mode, this defensive state. And that's not good to generate new business. That's not good to make the processors like you. And so you got wordplay with your leads, but you also have wordplay with your operations. You see, the best way to win is you got to play everyone. Like, it's kind of like, you know, like if you go to a club, you got to work everyone, from the valet to the doorman to the waitress, to get the best service, right? The same thing goes in operations. And the reason for that is because people, whether they like to admit it or not, they're going to put a little bit more elbow grease for those that they care about more. And so if you are a favorite, even though no one will ever admit, right? Operations will never admit, your manager will never admit that they have a favorite, but they do. And when that favorite asks for anything, the particular person that they're asking will be more than likely to comply and do that thing. Why? It's because the wordplay, it's the energy that you express towards that individual. Let me give you an example. There are a lot of loan officers who talk to operations. When I'm talking to operate, I'm talking about loan processor, production assistants, that talk to these people like they're their servants, right? Like no like gracious, no class at all. No, like, hey Susie, hi Susie, hope all is well, or hey Susie, I want to help you, right? Instead, it's not even a greeting. It's just like, what's the status on this file? They're calling me for updates. Like, who the fuck are you, boo-boo? Like, you have to really think about that. And the best way to look at it is to look at your emails. Like, today, pull up the last couple emails you sent to your operations. Mind you, that your deal doesn't go through unless that person does their job, right? Do you know how to process? Do you know how to underwrite? No, you need them. Just like they need you, because they wouldn't have anything to process if it weren't for you. And so you have to understand that it's a team. You have to actually work in cohesion versus work as a subordinate and a dominant force, right? So you can't talk to them like they work for you. You have to talk to them like they work with you. It's like a relationship. A lot of loan officers got that twisted, and therefore, because of their rude comments or having no class and no empathy towards operations, guess what, boo-boo? Your file gets put to the back of the line, and then you're upset and mad. Well, why? Well, because that processor thinks you're a dick. And they got full right to, right? Like, you ever talk to a client, like, look at it in our shoes, right? So you ever talk to a prospect who think they shit don't stink, or who think that they can qualify for everything, like they're too bougie bourgeois? Like, how do we treat them? We don't treat them the same as a prospect who gives us a little bit of respect, who respects our time and complies with our requests, right? We treat them a little bit more favorite. Now, imagine if the bougie bourgeois person who got on your nerves called and left you a message, And then the person who actually respected your time and respected you as an individual and understood business and had business sense and some class called you, who do you think you're going to call back first? Who do you think you're going to work a little bit harder for? Who do you think you're going to put a little bit more elbow grease in for? That's right, the person that respects your time. So use that when you're talking to your operations. You got to work every single person. You got to work the receptionist. I'm talking about work the receptionist, like make them love you, because if they get a call from an inbound inquiry, guess who they're going to transfer it to? They're going to transfer it to you, right? It's going to bypass everyone else. Because why? Because you played them. You got to work your production assistants before it goes over to processing. Why? Because they're going to do the administrative tasks that you don't want to put and invest your time towards. You got to work your processors. Why? Because they're going to put your file to the front of the line at the time where the most busiest and most traffic is coming from. That's how you get your file to the front of the line, because they like you. You got to work your funders, your underwriters, your notaries. You got to work everyone. Everyone is a sale, not just your clients. Don't try to sell your clients, hand it off the baton and talk to them like you employ them. Boo-boo, you don't employ them. The employer employs them. You have to talk to them as if you're in a relationship with them. And to kind of remind you, man, if you ever been in a group of friends and your group of friends, like you got this couple in your group of friends and one couple talks to the other like shit. And then, you know what I mean? Like you whisper like, damn, he don't respect her, or she don't respect him, or shit. Sometimes we forget that that's how we sound like when we're talking to our operations. But without the fruitful relationship, we will not get what we need at the times that we need it most. And the times that we need it most is right now, because we're so jam-packed and we're so reliant on the operations to push our files forward, right? So keep that in mind, and I hope that it helps you alleviate the anxiety that you might be facing today because you are getting stressed by your borrowers, that they're not getting any updates, that they're not closing in time, and that they're getting sweated by every single competitor out there offering a lower rate and lower fee than you did. Boo-boo. I hope this message helped, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye.